Time and space management. How should teachers use their physical presence in class? All teachers, like people, have their own physical characteristics and habits, and they will take that into the classroom with them. But there are a number of issues to consider, and which have a direct reading on the student's perception for us. Proximity. Teachers should consider how close they want to be to the students they are working with. Teachers should be conscious of the proximity and distance and in assessing their student reaction to what is happening in the classroom, they should take this into account. Appropriacy. Deciding how closely you should work with students is a matter of appropriacy, so is the general way in which teachers stand in classroom. Many teachers create an extremely friendly atmosphere by crouching down when they work with students in pairs. Some teachers are even happy to sit on the floor, and in certain situations this may be appropriate. Movement. Some teachers tend to spend most of their class time in one place at the front of the class, for example, or to the side or in the middle. Others spend a great deal of the time walking from side to side or straighten up and down the aisles between the chairs. More successful teacher moving around in the classroom then will depend on his or personal style, where he or she feels most comfortable for the management of the class, how she or he feels it easy to manage the classroom effectively, and whether or not he or she wants to work with smaller groups. Contact. In order to manage a class successfully, the teacher has to be aware of what students are doing and, where possible, how they are feeling. This means watching and listening just as carefully as teaching. It means making eye contact with the student, listening to what they have said and responding appropriately. It is almost impossible to help a student to learn a language in a classroom setting without making contact with them. Using the voice in the classroom. Arbellery. Teachers need to be audible. They must be sure that the students at the back of the class can hear them as well as those at the front. Teachers do not have to shout to be audible. Good teachers try to get balance between audibility and volume just right. Consider the following example.
Good morning, Professor Girafaldi.
Good morning, Chavo.
Good morning, my dear Professor.
Good morning, Junior. Thank you.
I know what you're trying to do.
Quiet down.
I do. You can't fool me. You're trying to get
Quiet
ahead.
down.
I know exactly what you're trying to do.
Quiet down.
You're trying to buy off Professor Sausage.
What?
Why? Use very loud voice, and that is when teacher wants student to be quiet or stop doing something. But it is worth pointing out that speaking quietly is often used as the effective way of getting the students' attention sense. When they realize that you are talking, they will want to stop and listen in case you are saying something important or interesting. Conservation. Teachers have to take great care of the voices. it is important that they breathe correctly from the diaphragm so that they don't strain their larynxes. Conserving the voice is one thing teacher will want to take into account when planning a day's or a week's work. Organization in the classroom. Principles of effective organization and interaction with the class teacher will be technical and organizational effective. Beginning, get the maximum individual participation, possibility or climate of class without being overbearing, head practice time, and organization prevent discipline problems. Adjusted to the objectives of the session, every time we plan a task, we must anticipate how you will arrange for not deviate from the objective of the task. The use of the material should not be a risk to the student or to the deterioration of the material itself. Ideally, students spot what because the beings take responsibility and set employees do. It must facilitate learning autonomy. We must establish organizational routines that allow to collect material leaving the track. Preventive organization. Preventive organization anticipates problems of control. CLAS refers to strategies that teachers use to create and maintain a positive climate focused on tasks where minimal time is spent on tasks of control and management of the group. Classroom organization tells us a lot about the educational process that take place in it, on the directionality of the educational process, environment as the authority is shared and the methodology used. This is necessary to adapt to the needs of formal education. Project Space Center. Thank you.